So there is a very undervalued metric, um, which is not even discussed anywhere, and I kind of been glassing over it myself too. But when evaluating the B2C businesses, the percent of expenses spent on marketing against the average month by month user base growth theoretically should be stupid valuable. Now, it obviously cuts it out of B2B businesses because or businesses which haven't developed product yet, and while the former could be or often are good things to invest in, normally it's not that easy because most of them are like smaller solutions, and but the larger ones in which it's somewhat possible to invest, not having sufficient capital to go angel, are normally very stable, uh, but it's also not that easy to get that much value from them. Um, but when we are talking B2C, the natural growth from word of mouth, if you can measure it, is incredibly important metric, especially if you can do it algorithmically, meaning you don't need to spend any time searching through thousands and thousands of small companies, but you can just get it algorithmically. Now, the case where a company actually grows by word of mouth is incredibly rare, but absolute gold. It's really difficult to go searching for them manually. You would need a team. But if you just make a reasonable metric, I'm pretty sure you can start a hedge fund just off of that. Just off of that. Now, why don't I myself start a hedge fund right now? That's actually a good question. I would need to collect enough data on this. I would need to have enough trading data probably for this to get. I mean, Steve Free would be somewhat sufficient. I mean, the fund investors are normally not that bright because I mean funds just underperform statistically all the time below indexes. Um, Everybody thinks they can find the right one and from the market. Normally that's not the case, but this is like a huge selection criterion, and you could also build stuff like apply stuff after that, but you could also just position this as a direct risk reduction on the B2C sector, and that's enough. Like to have a successful fund, you do not need to do anything crazy. You just need to increase sharply, reduce risk in any part of the game. Like you can be making less than the average of the market and still be incredibly in demand and fund if your uh, risk is uncorrelated with the market. Like say you are doing short positions. Short positions normally are more difficult because the market has been growing something like 8% yearly, right? So if you're capable of making even 6 to 10% consistently, again, these existing results, projection should be down because always should be projection down. But say you have like record of 8%, you are going to be more enticing than some other fund which just leveraged beta on the market now doing 1.5 and getting 12%, right? They are worthless. You are incredibly valuable because someone, I mean, basic logic, someone can just borrow money and invest more into your fund, and someone else's fund who's, or just the index, or someone else's fund who is beta, and then just shrink their effective drawdown expectation significantly. So, or that invest more money without increasing the drawdown expectation almost at all. So that's kind of the thing, that you do not need to be super smart with one thing. If it's just statistically working, it's enough. I haven't formally tested this, and mostly it's a question of just searching through a lot of unstructured data, and just working correctly. There are its own challenges here, but I think it's very much worth to make it because my intuition tells me that it's incredibly undervalued. It's also a question how to invest in this. Again, not having sufficient capital for Angel, so collecting actual trade data might be more difficult than the theory, but collecting just theoretical data is still straightforward, and I will do it immediately after finishing my current thing working on, which I must fucking finish because it's been a while that I'm away from market. Like I'm obviously watching from the side. I'm making like a deal here and there, but I'm not having a day-to-day presence, and that's having a huge impact on just my simple ability to trade even, and also the loop of reinforcement, it's not that strong. So loop 4 writes the more code, reinforcement loop, it's not that strong, because if I write code, immediately make more money. It's easier to go through difficult bugs, write more code, put more effort into it, and currently I've kind of doing very abstract estimations of what the value of undoing is, right? And trying to go for that. But immediate monetary reward is obviously easier. Like no matter how much I'm trying to connect the breach of expected value like 20 years down the line, and what I'm doing right now, if I get immediate monetary reward, it's obviously better for my motivation, my ability to put more effort into the thing. So duct taping my system to the fucking market is priority number 1 right now. And I'm still trying to do everything nicely, and well, first of all, I'm using Rust. It's really difficult to do something not the best way in Rust. It kind of forces you to write really good code, which is kind of fun mentally, and you are always happy with what you have written, and again, it stimulates an exercise. Maybe it's not the best thing in my current position, but whatever. I mean, there's nothing else I can do but just finish writing the goddamn code. Anyways, plan is still to say, like, I'm doing these journal entries every single time. Is kind of a bit problematic because I have the probably who could be weird enough to watch this, because the points stay the same, and if I start switching around to things that are kind of interesting, that wouldn't lead me to anything. I would just get a tiny bit better or have a tiny bit of progress everywhere and nowhere at once. So part of the function of this interest is to remind myself of what matters. And actually, I don't think I had at some point, but right now I don't think I have a strict system for yearly, monthly, daily, weekly goals. Like, kind of, I know them. I mean, I know them in general. I know them this year, but I don't have monthly, weekly, and sometimes daily goals. Like obviously, I have activities or about just plans, the approximate structure, but I don't have a place where I have recorded weekly goal with a quantity, right? So it can be watched where I fall against it. I don't have that, so I will also make that. I think tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably make some way to keep track of this tomorrow. Um, because that seems incredibly important. I mean, right now there are around me so many people who are going to university each day and spending their time there. The return on this, if it's not MIT or whatever, is reasonable, but not out of the world. It's like very, very mediocre, and you can do much better with your time. But even on whatever, you still have at least the same amount of time um, in each day on average, at least. Uh, why wouldn't you feel it with something better? So, the most people who I can see around me do spend their time on university and spend that time on nothing else, or spend like 2 hours a week, like they did something productive. I made progress 2 hours a week. Did 2 hours a week, and there are very simple things which just school or university or whatever have that by default you wouldn't set for yourself. So it's going to be social pressure. It's going to be direct fixed targets. It's going to be defined binary work times. Again, very very direct quantitated metrics, immediate circumstance, not the immediate consequences for not accomplishing it, and by default you don't have it when you set it for yourself. So I need to again make sure to incorporate as many things that school university are doing to force you to come to them for myself as well. Again, normally, if I have, normally I don't need this, but there are 2 weeks at most that it takes to transition from the best version of yourself to absolute worst. If something, if serious things goes wrong, if you just start breaking habits, and that can get downhill very quickly. So more safeguards is always good, and even if nothing bad happens, probably will increase the efficiency by some percentage points. So definitely worth investing into figuring out how it can be done. And honestly, it's very important to also set kind of figure out how to set assertions that it is happening and it's defined in this way, uh, which would also allow to think about this as set of properties, and the rest being fluid and kind of after apparently this literally how to do tests has been a transformation experience, because I'm starting to see imagine the similar decision possibilities everywhere, being just defining a set of metric set of properties which has been followed, and then slowly adding one by one both new metrics and the processes for ensuring that are met, and just learning to get data, and as long as everything's stable, you can try to add more and more. So whatever you're doing, like if you say you're sales manager, right? You can one by one introduce new metrics which you are looking at, and you teach people how to get to the next metric. You ensure you introduce tests, you introduce ways to just count that, and then you move to the next metric, right? And then if any of them starts being deviated from, you have continuous data flow, and you notice it immediately. You already know that it is one possible. Two, you have knowledge of methods of getting there, and then you immediately start going there. If you track nothing, if I track nothing, I'm not going to be improving in the things that are not tracked, or improving but very slowly. So in anything that matters, it is my responsibility to define a set of properties and then ways of tracking where I'm meeting them, and having the properties also be quantitative, obviously. So that's what I am going to try to do with everything, honestly. Anyways, that's been going on for too long. I'm starting to say nonsense. The priority number one is to duct tape my thing to production as much as Rust allows, and then after that, in what little time I have free here and there, I'll try to reduce the systems for ensuring meeting the criterions on standards for both setting goals, practices, and so on. And then finishing my tests on the project, actually. A lot of things to do, and then eventually properties, it allows you to kind of have everything be fluid, right? So you have a set of properties, and then whatever the thing is, code, the actions which are taken, they're fluid. You can change them. If they don't change the properties, doesn't matter. And you expect them to be evolving continuously as environment changes, right? Anyways, don't worry.